Yeah,
Now,
you may continue.
applications will be tapped from the cloud. Hello? Hello?
Yes, yes, please continue. Thank you.
Applications will be tapped from the cloud as a software as a service model. Now, software as a service is the topmost level of service that a service provider can provide. Now, think about mailing as a service. Now, mailing is delivered from the cloud as a software as a service from a number of providers. Such applications like say a document management system. Document management system on the cloud is also available from a number of cloud service providers. That is also a software as a service that is being delivered. There is also something called as the platform as a service that people are already aware of. Applications will be executed on the cloud. In the sense, if you want to run an application and you want to run it on the cloud, the cloud service provider will provide you the platform on which the application needs to be executed. So what we'll do is you will host your application on the platform that the platform as a service provider, and people will be able to execute the application from that particular platform. Now, the data that is required for running this particular application that is going to be tapped from the cloud or executed on the cloud, that also can be supplied from the cloud itself. The data will reside on the cloud, and the application will pull the data from the cloud and execute the application for you. And the data that is being generated during the application also will be stored on the cloud. Now, such kind of a technology is available, and this has made possible the virtual desktop to come into existence. So what people who are going to use the virtual desktop will do is they will have access to the desktop on their gadgets, and applications that they want to run on their desktops, they can run it either by downloading those applications into their systems or pull those applications from the cloud and make the applications to get executed on the cloud. The data is no more going to be made available from the local storage devices anymore. Let me go to the next screen for you, the applications and the data. When the data is being stored in the cloud and it gets delivered to the applications on the cloud, what happens is you get rid of that big risk of storing all the data in the local devices. Now, all these days, we are very much aware of how data is stored in our local storage devices, hard disks and USB drives. Now, that is a big risk for any enterprise, because the data that resides in a local storage device, in a laptop's hardware, in a laptop's hard disk or a PC's hard disk, that will pose a big risk for the enterprise, because the confidentiality of the data is compromised many times. The data that is very, very critical, such data, when they are residing in a local storage device, the enterprises are always risking their data, because there is all possibility of the data being lost or pilfered. So if the data that is now being made available to the applications and the data that is being generated by these applications, if they can be brought to a centralized storage, then the enterprises will have all the control over the data. So what happens is the enterprise will be able to own all the enterprise data, whether it's going to be files like office files or picture files or images or any kind of file that is being generated by the everyday applications, or whether it's going to be mails or instant messages that are being shared between people on every day in an enterprise. All of these are going to be very, very important for the enterprise. So when these kind of data are now going to be stored in a centralized location, in whether it's going to be the private cloud or public cloud, then the enterprise will have all the access and the control to the data, and this will make the risk of sharing or storing the data in the local devices minimum. So what happens is the enterprise will have the ownership of the enterprise data. So the intellectual property of the enterprise will now move to the centralized storage, and so managing it and controlling the access of this kind of data will now completely be the responsibility of the enterprise, and it becomes easy for them to maintain, manage, make backup, and store it and record for future reference or future use. All of this is made possible with the help of this particular technology that's available today. So the desktops don't have to store their data in their local machines. Now this is another advantage on the user side, because the data, when it's available from the cloud, he will have access to the data from everywhere. From wherever he goes, he will be able to access the data from there. So in a sense, this person has a person who is going to use a virtualized desktop and do his everyday work would not have to always work from a given cabin or a given geographical location. He can work from anywhere. He is given the independence of working, whether from within the office or for outside the office, whether he is at home or whether he's at a holiday location. Wherever he is, he will have access to all the applications and the data from the centralized storage location, that is the cloud, and so he has greater independence to work from anywhere. So people need not walk into the offices all the time, and work from home will become a reality for a number of people. So what happens is, because the intellectual property of the enterprise, that is the mails, the files, the structured and unstructured files, the pictures, the images, whatever people collaborate with, all of those information that belongs to the enterprise will face relatively less risk, as the data will move from personal storage devices to the centrally managed and the storage. Now, who will manage these desktops? I told you